is
Hello?
recording. Yes, half an hour. If possible, is it?
Okay.
Does it work for you?
Yeah, it works for
Yes.
me.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Baxis. Very useful. Your previous exercises with Excel. Thank you.
We have all downloaded Anaconda. I don't know if now when we are going to, or it's another session, but we have already downloaded, okay?
Okay. Great. I hope everybody in the class has downloaded Anaconda and have Jupyter Notebook installed. So while I begin, while I hope others can also simultaneously, in case you haven't installed, I'll share a link in case anybody hasn't installed. So you can, while we are starting, you can install it, because this part is very application centric. If you don't have Anaconda, and if we are, I will try it so such that everybody is working on the same pace, and because that way only you'll be able to practice it while I'm doing it. So because otherwise it is very difficult to then catch up with it. So I've shared the link of that as well in the chat, and so I hope the slides are visible.
Yes, they are visible.
Yes, thank you. So, just to begin, so this is just a little bit of theory for everybody to understand basically what Python is. So, it like there are multiple computer languages out there. Like you must have heard of C, C++, HTML, Java, Python, and many different languages. Python is one language which is very friendly overall in terms of if you want to do any basic to advanced functions, especially for data science, and one of the most widely open source language which is used. So the slides are up. If you have any doubts from the slide, you can ask. Meanwhile, I'll keep explaining. So basically, Python as a language is used to create programs. And as in the previous part, Gen Z was explaining about different languages. So for example, how will a computer understand a language? So from the very basics of computers began with the binary language of 0 to 1, which was used to help computers understand what we are trying to communicate with them. And then after that, we proceeded with the more advanced level of languages. And a lot of you would have heard the word algorithm. So algorithm functions through many different. So when we see like algorithms, like for example, if Instagram or Facebook or any of the social media platforms, they amplify certain posts or they don't amplify certain posts, so there's an algorithm which goes behind it. And there are certain features that are added to those algorithms which are there, which can be added. So so as I was explaining about zeros and ones, so there are various kinds of languages. First kind that I was mentioning was a low level language, which is binary language, which speaks basically, we give instructions in zeros and ones. And because computer may not understand the word apple or the general English terms, we have feeded certain information to the machines. That's how they're able to understand it. And as you can see, the second, which is a middle level language, also called as an assembly language. So basically, this is used to create symbols, letters, digits, and special characters. While the language that we are going to work on, Python, it's a high level language which has, so basically, I don't want to complexify this. Just for simple understanding, a low level language works with zeros and ones. A middle level language works with letters, digits, and special characters. But a high level language also has grammar rules to it, like the way we speak our languages, Spanish, Portuguese, English, Hindi, etc. So Python is a high level language. And to understand Python, there are, so we tell Python something, and it is then interpreted by Python through compilers and interpreters. So compiler is basically a program basically which reads the language, and the machine is able to understand what we are trying to say, which we will proceed with the next part. So this is just to sort of give you a background of Python. So Python can be used for machine learning. So just like it's a buzzword out there, machine learning. So just to break it down, which we'll also be doing in further sessions. So machine learning is to predict models. So for example, if there is a particular pattern that is visible, which the data set is telling, as I was showing the climate change data set. So it is possible to identify patterns out of it, and which can be used through advanced machine learning algorithms. So these are some of the algorithms used by major tech organizations. And while data science is something which is, it's a science behind understanding the data and interpreting it for the best use possible that we are looking for. I won't go in much of these details, but so that we're able to proceed with the real doing part of it, because otherwise this looks very uh, abstract and might be difficult for somebody to understand these things. So these are some keywords, but now what I will do, just want to brief a little bit about the syntax part, comment. I'll just now directly move to the Python notebook, the Jupyter notebook. These are some of the operators that I will be discussing. I'm just skimming through the slides. If anybody wants to ask a doubt or wants to ask something about these things. Python we also can give statements to Python and it can operate as per that. So that is done through for loops or while loops. Let me now move to the slides. Sorry, the Jupyter notebook. So yes. Yes. Is the notebook visible?
Yes.
Yes. So this is how a Jupyter notebook looks like. If you haven't reached this stage, please unmute yourself or tell it on the chat so that we can try to help you to reach to this stage. This you'll reach here after you have installed Anaconda, and through Anaconda you've installed Jupyter. So this tool can also be used in to code in different languages. Right now we are coding with coding on Python. So let me begin with the most basic and a very heavily used function called as print. So this is again now coding part begins. So if I type print and if I put in brackets, for example, let me type welcome to ETLI and the bracket is closed. So now I've typed this, and this part which is colored. This is being read by the machine, by the coder. And now if I do hashtag and if I write basic print, you can notice that it is coming in italics and in a different color. So this part which I've highlighted. This part machine will not read to code. This is for our own understanding, and it is commonly known as a comment. Like for example, if I'm submitting my assignment to a professor to check, and I want him or her to read a particular comment that I'm making. This can be done through hashtag and then the particular word that I'm writing. So if I go, so as you can see, this is a run feature here. So when we are working with the commands, we need to, when we press run, the computer basically runs it. So if I press run, now it has typed out welcome to ETLI. So similarly, I can, so this is just basic English, which, so Python or the machine overall can only understand it if it is in brackets, and after brackets if I'm using inverted commas. If I'm not using this, I'll show you an error file so that you can also see. It's so easy to make mistakes in code. So if I say basic print and uh, basic print, and then if I write print in brackets and then again I write welcome to ETLI, same lines, and now if I run it, it will show me error. As you can see, it's showing the error that the syntax is not valid, which is the reason why it's very important to follow each and every small step when we are working with code. So now if I write print and I use inverted commas and then I write welcome to ETLI and then I run it, now it will run. Now it's working. So this is the reason why each and every small part of the code, each and every word, each and every letter is very important, without which the code will not run, and then it creates problems. So let me start with a conditional statement. So you may think, so what is a conditional statement? So in coding, conditional statements can be put So for example, if I type this part out, so I'm just checking, let me check if the numbers are even or odd. So yes. So let me write comment hashtag checking if numbers are even or odd. Now after this, let me just type. So the number command that I'm going to use is num is equal to, as I was also showing in the slides. And if I, for example, give 7, this is the number that I'm asking Python to check. And then I ask Python that if num, and now I'll use percentage sign. So percentage sign is also um, this. There is a particular way in which the Python looks at the percentage sign. That's how it sees that as a divide. So if I write here 2 is equal to, instead of is equal to in coding, we need to write it as is equal to. And if I write here 0 with colon, now if I go on the next sentence and here I write else. So again, this is a conditional statement. So I use the word else, use the yes. And after that, I write print num, because I've defined num. So the over on the in the initial part where I wrote num, so that is where I'm defining. So I'm defining my number as 7. Then if I just further then put it as it is odd. Also, this needs to come as something that we are putting as in inverted commas, as you can see. Yeah. And yes, this will also come. So everything should be the inverted commas and the brackets. It's something which is very important. While so yeah, so I put in brackets and then I put inverted commas is odd, and then I again close my brackets, and now I try to run the command. Great. So now this is showing me an error of indentation. So the indentation, it shows me that it should be yes. This is something which is very common in Python. So in line 5, line 3, it's showing me that this line cell. So this is also important to understand. It's very, that's why I'm saying it's very important to make errors in Python to understand. So the way machine is talking to me, saying cell number 5, line 3, it's telling me where the error is. This is cell number ln. This is cell number. This is line 1, line 2, line 3. It's telling me that there's an indentation error in the line 3, which is this line. So how will we try to solve it? This is an unexpected indent error. Okay. I had already now this. I had already performed it before, so let me try to put it from there so that we can avoid any error in this. Yes. So if, as you can see, now I've run it again, and now as you can see, I have solved the indentation error, and Python is telling me as a language that 7 is odd. Now let me change 7 to 8 and run it again. Now Python is telling me that it is even. So this is how, if I train the machine, if I give the correct code, if I give the correct code to Python, it can tell me if the number is even or odd. Any doubts here? If there's any doubt in terms of the syntax of it, the syntax is basically the language in which I'm putting it in. Meanwhile, I can slowly also move to the next.
Excuse me,
part of
can
it.
I ask a question?
Yes, yes.
Can then the syntax is if num percentage 2 equal 0 2 points. Can you explain? Excuse me. Can you explain to me this line, please?
Sure. I can explain this line. So let me also meanwhile share my screen to the PPT where where we did not spend much time on the is equal to part. So is equal to for in Python, instead of just writing is equal to, we write is equal to, which means that, which is just for Python as a language to understand that this is what, because generally is equal to, as you can see, I also used is equal to in defining my number, which is here. But when I'm working on it from the numerical side of it, I have defined number as I've given it a definition, but there is only an understanding of this is how a term is defined. The term is NUM. If I change this, for example, let me change it to hello, and if I do hello here, should give me, it's not giving me an error, because Python does not know hello means hello. Python just knows the hello is a word that I'm using. So I hope I'm able to clarify it, or if there's any more, if I was not very clear, I can also share my PPT to help you understand that part. Is it visible?
Yes,
Hello,
it is.
is it visible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So these are the operators that Python has. So the very basic operators are plus, minus, multiplication, division, as you can see in the table. While there are comparison operators as well. So comparison operators is of less than, greater than, less than, is equal to, and as you can see, the fifth operator, which is equal to. So this is how, when we are communicating to Python, we need to communicate it like that. But if we are saying not equal to, that needs to be said as with an exclamation and equal to sign, then Python will understand. And the example that I'm giving in the slide, I'm saying that 5 is equal to 2, which is a false. That is how in the table I'm trying to explain.
Yeah.
When I'm saying, yes, when I'm saying 5 is less than feature, 5 is not less than 2. That's why Python is, I mean, in here I'm showing it as false. Same thing, same code can be done on Python, and Python can tell me that this is a particular, this is wrong or this is right. But it's something which is then being told, it's informed in the numerical values that are being fed in the Python system. All of this might sound very confusing, but again, like I was telling, if you're right now doing it while I am showing it, it'll be much easy to follow. Because otherwise it can, a small, like I was showing, a small error in a space or an inverted commas can also make the code show me an error. That's why it's important if we are doing it together, so that we are able to figure out where are the errors being made here. And yeah, I'll just now, I hope I was able to answer the question.
Yes, and the percentage, please, about, I'm sorry to answer ask this, but what about the percentage? What is the meaning of this? If number percentage 2 is equal to 0, this is clear. But number percentage 2.
So you're not able to understand what is the percentage sign.
Yes, please.
So the percentage, it is basically, it's a modulo operator. So basically so there are different kinds of operators, as I was showing in the slide. A modular operator is something which is used as, we are using it as it's a right hand operation. So a modular operation can be, so the syntax of it is, such that we are dividing it. It's also used as a dividing a syntax. So instead of writing slash, because slash will then give me, so slash is very regularly used in coding languages. Like when we even open Google, it is https// and then the www.google.com or any website comes. So slash is, that's why not used in Python to operate with its normal function. That's why instead of slash, is equal to is used in Python. It's a modulo operator. What I can also do, I'm sure it's very difficult to learn it in 1 hour or half an hour. I can share resources on it so that after the session is over, participants can have a look at it and get much more clarity on it.
Thank you.
Yes. So moving on now, just to also save time, we have running out of time. So I'll just quickly, I had written the codes with me, and this one, this code I'm running to figure out if a particular year is a leap year or not. So if I run this code, it is showing me 2024 is a leap year. So let me change it. Let me change it to 2015, and let's see if what Python is telling. So Python is telling me 2015 is not a leap year. So just to explain this, this is my comment. I'm like assuming that I'm submitting this as an assignment to my examiner, and in the comment I'm writing checking if a year is a leap year or not. I'm defining the year. I'm giving the number. Year is equal to, I can change it. This is an if else command. So if year for, again, like now are you able to figure this out? So I'm writing for look at is percentage as division. If the year is divided by 4 and it can give a complete, so is it, I'm saying it's 0. So the way I'm saying 0 is such that if the number is divisible by 0, if the number is divisible by 4, if the year is divisible by 4, then again, so after that, when I mentioned, so as I was saying, not is equal to, so this exclamation and is equal to sign is not is equal to, that's how Python will understand it. Then it will see me, it will show year, I'm mentioning it as 400 is equal to, and I'm giving the command to Python to print the year if it's a leap year or if it's not a leap year. So I'm giving this command. So now if I change it, I'm basically telling to Python if a number is divisible by 4, it is a leap year. If a number is not divisible by 4, it is not a leap year. I'm telling this to Python. So if I change it to 3000 and run this code, it's telling me that it's not a leap year. Correct. Let me do 4000. Now Python is telling me that it's a leap year. So how, how if I train the machine to tell me quantifically that and if I change the 4 to anything else, but since we are following the definition of leap year, that's why I kept it 4. If I change it to 2, it can tell me even and odd numbers. Similarly, I can change the command and this will be able to tell me how I want my particular figures to look at. So quickly moving on to one more function. Meanwhile, if anybody has a doubt, please feel free to ask that as well.
We are not even able to open the file in Jupyter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
Sure. Sure. What I will do, I will quickly
okay,
share.
now we got it.
Got it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, now we got it. We got it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Maybe we look distracted because we are trying to do the same as what you are doing, no? But we are there.
Yes. Please stop me in case you are facing a problem in not being able to reach it. So now I'll give another conditional statement to Python. So this conditional statement is on age. So if I put age as, so here, so now I have given, so now if I run the command, I'll just run through the each and every line as well. Age is equal to integer, and if you see int stands for the integer value, and now input, I will input my command here. Python will ask me for a command here. Now I'm saying Python, if age is less than 18, print you are a minor, else if age is not equal to and less than, equal to and more than 18 but less than 65, you are an adult. Else if I put another age, it will give me a, so let me run the command and you will see. So now Python is asking me to enter my age. So would anybody like to volunteer and tell their age, and I'll tell it to Python and Python will tell me if you're an adult or a minor? Any volunteer?
61.
25.
Okay. So let me put 25 and yes, let me enter. And yeah, so as Python is telling, age 25, you are an adult. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me run this again and Python will again ask me age. Let me put the age 5. Python is telling me that you're a minor. So yeah, let me try to put a number which is, so this is, so is, did anybody notice something? Like there is something purposefully that I've done in this code, which if anybody is able to notice.
No.
Okay, so I have defined
Now, I
Python.
think,
Yes.
I just wanted to ask in this the first line, age is equal to int, then bracket int, and then there is a double brackets at the end. So
Yes.
I think Python is not going to recognize it.
Double brackets at the end. Where?
Yeah, on the first line.
In the first line.
Column. Yeah.
Yes. So like line 1, line 2, line. So in the first line, I have put a single. I've used a single is equal to. So after that, I put as input. So this is where I'm asking Python to ask me this question, and that's why I've mentioned the word input. So I have to enter my input here. And what I'm asking that I've not purposefully told Python is I've defined less than 18 as a minor. I've defined 18 plus and 65 below as an adult, but I have not defined senior citizen. So any value which is more than 65, it will automatically take senior citizen. So let me show it as an example. Let me enter 1000. Even 1000, Python is also taking 1000 as a senior citizen, even though like because I've not defined senior citizen, I've just kept it open. So else, so any value which is not between 1 to 18 or 0 to 18 and 0 to 65, Python will take it as a will consider it as a senior citizen. So let me run it. Let me say, let me give a huge number. Senior citizen, 5 million something senior citizen. Because Python does not know how, I've not defined senior citizen in my Python code. Purposefully, so that Python would not understand it. But if I define senior citizen and if I put a number, let's say more than 150, Python may say that it's an invalid number. But I have not told Python to do that. I have told Python that any number above 65, you say that it is a senior citizen. So if I do 66, senior citizen. If I do 60, it will say you're an adult. That's how Python, I have told my I've coded my language such that Python will understand this part of it. Now this is basically in Python language, it is called as a conditional statement. It is also a conditional statement because I've given a condition to Python that if it's more than 18, it's a minor, less than 18, it's a minor, more than 18, less than 65, it is an adult. More than 65, anything, Python will consider it as a senior citizen. That's how I have told Python here. And yes, let me also do one more basic feature. I can see that we have already reached 3:30, but let me try to define a particular. So in Python, we can also create dictionaries. So yeah. So for example, if I create a dictionary, which is, let's quickly put it. Yeah. So if this is my dictionary, and now I've defined it, and I have put basic characteristics. I've given name, I've given age, and I've given grade, for example. So with this, I can ask Python basically look at the different dictionary values. So as you can see, now I'm accessing, this is a dictionary, and I now want Python to access it. Now if I do run, Python it has told me that the student name is Alice, age is 20, grade is A. So I am asking Python to read it through a dictionary. So imagine it's a huge dictionary of 1000 plus 2000 plus values. If I give a command to Python, it can read out the details of the particular entity or the person, or for whatever purpose we're using the dictionary for, and Python will tell me that what basically it is like. Similarly, I'll just come to do one more basic feature. Meanwhile, if anybody has any doubts here, so please you can tell me. So now I'll slowly move towards list part. So in Python, we can also create list. So for example, I create a list. In my list, I have fruits, and I'm defining fruits as apple, banana, and cherry. Now, if I want to make changes to this list, what I need to tell Python is that I want to add or remove something. So let me try to run this as well. Yeah. So Python, with this list, Python can make changes to it. So if I want to append, it can change it. So this is by basically, if I want to add a value, I can use this command, that this is my list and I want to append it. Fruits is the name of it. That's why this is fruits here, and append. And now I can add or sort of do whatever I want here. So for example, it's directly printing fruits because I have, and now I think I just wanted, before we end, to just show everyone here that what sort of capability Python has. So I'll just stop my screen sharing and just take 2 more minutes to share another screen to show how Python can be used for more. This is very sort of some things which are which might look very basic, but these are just the very beginning part of it. But I'll just show my screen and show how data analysis can really be done with Python. So yes, so Python uses libraries, and one of the libraries pandas, one of the libraries NumPy. I have a data set of rainfall at a particular city in India. I have values for last 40 years, and as you can see, from 1 to 15,490 entries I have, and I am defining the size. These are some more code values that are being coded here, and I mean, a lot of you would have made graphs on Excel or otherwise, but this is a graph that Python can provide. So this is again to show what was the precipitation in different years, as you can see. So that's how I'm looking. I can make these figures in Python. Then it can also make much more complicated figures. So this is a box plot. This is the box plot figure which shows how in different years there have been precipitation and the amount of rainfall in per millimeter per day. And you can see the left side of it, 200 mm, 400 mm, 600 mm, and the years. So this is a visualization that was done through a data set. And yeah, this is also an axis subplot. And again, this is another visualization to understand the patterns. These colors here tell the patterns of wind. So on the left side, as you can see, these are the years. And again, so this is to identify if there are any patterns in the data set. And I've given a range to Python, and it has basically performed this analysis. And so just like we can see our data in Excel, Python also, you can see the data set here, but we cannot edit it in Python. We can basically work on the data set, but we cannot make changes to it. And this is another box plot. So not entering into any details of it, but this is just for the participants to see the pattern. So as you can see, this is the time of the year. So how in India during monsoon, like during the month of June, July, we have major rainfall, June, July, August. And as you can see, highest rainfall is in the central part. So sort of see the pattern. And yeah, this is another table. Another visualization. So yeah, this is another chart to identify in which year was it highest. It was highest somewhere in the 1997, 1996ish. This is the highest point. So this is also something which these commands may look a little complicated, but once you're able to know the basics, you'll be able to work on it as well. But it will take time. I think it takes time to learn, but I'm sure as you spend more time with it, you'll be able to understand it. I'll share a few resources as well, which maybe afterwards for the next 4 days you can have a look at those resources and use it. And yeah, and in the beginning, as you can see, I have given a particular this is the name of the file. Python can read this file from my device, from my laptop, and read this, and then on that I can perform an analysis. And I've already gone 6 minutes ahead of the time, so I think I can stop here. Any doubts, if anyone has, please?
No doubts. I think, Maxis, we were a little distracted as we were trying to do and work at the same time you were talking. But I think the main goal of losing our fear to at least to go through it, I think is achieved. I don't think I've not been able to type anything. I've not been able to reach further, but at least, yeah, it's a first approach that is very practical, and I think that fear, I think, is a little bit less now, no, Beatriz?
Yes,
So,
definitely.
so it's true that in half an hour, in 1 hour, we cannot go through it. No, we can do it on our own. If you also want to share with us whatever resources we may use or tools, and yeah, I think it's at least visually we are being able to see what can be the result also. No, that is, I think, helpful for all of us. So thank you for your session. Share with us whatever you think is useful for us. And yeah, I think from our end, Beatriz, we can give this first day for finish. Is that okay?
Yes. So thank you so much, Baxis. Very useful, and we will continue tomorrow at 9 o'clock Spanish time, if I may. So thank you so much, and see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning Spanish time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Beatriz,
Thank
can I just ask?
Thank you so much.
Some people from the project are
Thank you.
here. Can I ask just to confirm you dinners and lunches in Porto, please?
Yes.
Yes, because I just received a few.
Yes,
answers.
this is a reminder for the questionnaire Ines submitted for the Porto Multiply event for lunches and dinners. Can I ask you, I saw that there are 2 dinners. Which is the timetable of this? What time are the dinners, if I may?
The dinners are 8:30, more or less 8 o'clock Portuguese time. So it's 9 Spanish time.
Okay. And okay. There's this, and of the 2 dinners that appear there, is there anyone which is a more formal one, or they are normal dinners?
I'm trying to have a little bit more formal, but depends on the number of persons who apply for, as I won't go to that place. One of the places will be in Gaia, which you have a nice for the city of Porto, near the river, so it's not so formal. And the other one I was trying to have here in a house near our school or near the hotels too. Not probably we'll use our cars to take everybody who's in, not to walk so much because we don't know if it will be raining. Today it's wonderful, the weather is 25 degrees here and sunny, but we don't know how it will be on the 4th and 5th. And this depends on the person who will apply for. I'm trying to organize because I need to settle the lunches, because now the academic year started and we are in a quite movimented place
because this is the center of the universities where we are. So probably 40 or 50,000 persons come here daily. So it's quite crowded. And I
Yes.
need to have, at least for our
Yes.
group, our investigation group, to have everything ready. The other persons who will attend, I'm receiving some applications. Let's see if people come. They're applying from every cities in the country, which is really nice. Let's hope they can come. I will write them to confirm the application, and I will inform them that they need to eat. Canteen will be crowded probably because we have students and classes